couple of exits down, right where they're doing that construction,
Uh-huh.
there was a little fender bender, so.
Oh,
when I
gotcha.
was coming up, one of the lanes was like, I don't wanna say closed, but.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, friends, we're just gonna jump in, even though like, hey, Ben, we don't have a ton to get through today because we got through backbends the last time we met, so we don't have a ton of poses to get through. But the poses that we do have to get through, I want to make sure that you're solid with in terms of like, I don't want you to hurt yourself and that kind of thing. So, how's it going? Yeah. Do we have like a healthy dose of senioritis going on? All that stuff? Yeah.
You know, yesterday's practice teaching.
Okay, okay,
Really good.
okay, good, good.
Looking forward to the next.
I've heard that there's some questions around the friends and family class. You have more questions?
In my brain still a little bit, cause I know like last night I kept thinking like, oh, what about this? Oh, what about that?
Okay,
When is the link available? Is that gonna be day of or is that gonna be?
the link,
Yeah, the link so that the people who are online.
it's on, it's in that post already. Yeah,
It's not, I don't do my own research.
there you go. All right, that was an easy question. What else?
Yes, Rebecca and she talked. So just, do they typically go fast or over, like? before
I have
the-
never had a class go overtime.
Okay, so that's what she said.
Yeah.
She,
Yeah, you all usually get really excited and feed off of each other and it's like speed yoga. So yeah, if anything, you're gonna wanna like pace yourself. But yeah, I've never had a class go overtime.
If
Yeah.
it was the weird exception that we did, it's not like you're gonna be like, nope, nope, kick out and we're 3 minutes over.
Yeah, that's why I give you a half-hour cushion before and after.
Yeah.
that was my
Uh-huh.
question. Is it planned for that we got extra room?
It's planned, but it honestly, like, it generally won't go over, but I mean, do your best to keep it to an hour and not go over, but only in the sense that that's good practice for you, right? Like that's gonna keep that, that muscle working for you. What else?
I know I have one of them, I don't think of it.
Okay.
So it starts at 9:30.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Is it, recorded to play later? Like say if I have a friend who couldn't do the 9:30?
No, but only because we don't really have a place to store it, right? Because your friend isn't gonna have access to Google Classroom, right? So I don't have a place to store it. So yeah, we won't record it. So get used to it. Get used to it. So like in the beginning, I will, just kind of welcome people for coming and like introduce you guys and all that stuff. Like I have to introduce you to your friends and family, but so just to kind of shake some of the nerves off, like I'll say a couple things in the beginning and then let you all take it over. So. Okay.
In my thing, I had a welcome to, so I'll just.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm not going to do anything that is gonna step on any of your toes.
Oh.
So it'll just be like a thank you from me
Hmm.
to the group, so you do your thing.
So that actually leads into my question. I mentioned it in our group chat, but is there like a planned moment for us to rehearse our friends and family class, like so that we can practice our, okay, cool.
Not necessarily unless like, you have a chance in like one of the practice teaches.
Okay,
Teacher can let you do that.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought that would be really helpful for like nerves and planning like our transitions, because like, I mean, I go first, so I don't really. I'll be fine.
It'll be fun, but I don't know about the rest of you.
But like the transitions from like, you, do you know what I'm saying? Like that way it's more smooth, like.
Yeah,
so
but
we
that,
can-
I wouldn't worry about that
Okay.
because whoever is teaching the section after you is already gonna be up and adjusting. So like, just make eyeballs at them. If they're like not talking, just be like, yo, it's your turn.
Okay, cool.
yep, do the thing that you're supposed to be doing right now. Yeah.
There,
But yeah, that kind of thing has never, like, I've never had any hiccups with any of that. Like, the biggest hiccups that you all are gonna have is like just nerves and like forgetting an inhale or an exhale or something like that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because your friends and family don't know. That's the beauty. That is the beauty of teaching to a public class where people don't know your sequence. They don't know if you mess up, and I don't care. This is like, mess up, it's fine. Like, if it goes off the rails, I'm here to bring it back on the rails and help you, but like, it's not gonna do that. It's not gonna do that. It'll be fine. You're gonna be great.
Do we handle the check-in,
What's that?
the check-in,
What do you mean?
you know, when individuals come in to check them in? as,
Oh, we're
you
not
know,
doing that. They don't have to sign up
It's a
for the
free-
class or anything like that.
just, Cause we're gonna shuffle in at different, you know, I mean, we're gonna all be here, I guess, but.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just thinking,
they need to be.
like,
are
greet us
supposed to
at
call
the
you
door,
back.
or, you know, I guess.
Oh.
All of our friends and families may not come with us out.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. Don't stress too much about that.
Yeah.
Like, you can go out, like, cause we'll be here at 9 and the class starts at 9:30. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, I just thinking of a normal, how individuals come through and they're greeted, or I
Oh,
know they're not gonna be checked in, you just said that, but.
yeah. Yeah, you can stand out there and greet your friends and family as they come in. It's all good. Don't stress about that part of it. That's easy.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for thinking of that, though. Okay, anything else? I know, yeah,
Sorry, was there another one?
no,
Oh, okay, sorry.
ahead.
Setup. So our mats are gonna be down.
Mhm.
Is there any specific way, or is that also overthinking?
that's overthinking it.
And, okay, and but we're doing the flow with it until it's like more our turn.
Uh-huh.
So that they have something to look at, right?
I mean,
Well, kind of a thing.
Well, otherwise you'd be
That's
standing
what-
around.
yeah, just think of it as like a regular, it's just a regular class. It's just a class. You can put your mat wherever you want, wherever your friends and family want to set up, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do.
And
Don't take that spot there by the bolsters. That is my spot. I have claimed that spot. No, I'm just, it's easy, cause like the thing that's gonna go haywire on you is the music. So like if I'm there, I can easily jump up and deal with whatever's going on with the music. The other thing is that I will either get with the teachers that teach the morning classes and have them either bring their own device or cancel the live streams so that we could use the iPad, so that we could use the microphone, okay? The thing with the microphone is there is the button on the side. If you press it one time, it shuts Zoom off.
Oh.
I can easily get it back up. But we don't want to do that like 13 times. It's in use right now.
Okay.
It's obvious, So just when you're taking the microphone off of you, use the clasp, don't grab it from the sides. Yeah, use the clasp, not from the sides.
Are you our practice teacher next Saturday?
I'm not. No,
Do we happen to know who that is, and are we able to reach out to see if we can practice with a microphone that day?
I don't know that the microphone will be available for you.
Got it,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But I mean, just when you're at a class next, just ask the teacher to see the microphone so you know what it looks like. Yeah, it's a red button. It's red.
So.
Don't press the red button. Don't press. I do it in my class, my live class, all the time. Like, I can't tell you how many times I have shut Zoom off and I'm just like,
Wait.
oh, sorry.
You can
It's
do
easy
it
to get back.
now.
It's easy to get back. Yeah,
Can I tell you a nice, really short story?
sure.
MRI has a safety button, it's red, and especially on the older models, it's not placed in a good spot, because you have to like communicate with the patient. And this is the little speaker box, and then the shut down the entire machine which takes 20 minutes to restart and you're on a very tight schedule, and you have a patient who's claustrophobic in there, is right on top.
Oh,
Fun times.
oh,
Fun
okay.
times when you're a student. learning.
Yeah. Learning the hard way.
Shadow times, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens. It happened in the last friends and family class. Somebody hit the button and shut it down, except the problem is that they were at Austin Bluffs in the downstairs studio, and when it's there, I generally am not in the class because it's such a smaller room. So I usually just like sit out the class, and I didn't know that it happened. And they're like, we don't know how long it's been like that. I was like, you know what, it just is what it is at this point. You're already in Shavasana, so apologize to your friends and family. Okay. Are you excited for it? You should be.
Yeah,
I'm excited for you.
you know, I just realized, I guess we are gonna have to switch the microphone around the 13.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, don't press the red button.
You know, it just kind of sunk in like really heavy. I'm like, that's logistical. But, you know.
Just,
what
it's like
whatever.
passing the baton, right? Like, it's just a relay.
So totally not the same, but like, that's one of the things, like, we could practice if we do like a rehearsal. Sure, we wouldn't necessarily have the mic, but like, we could bring like a chip flip.
Yes, let's do that.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can grab.
If,
it
if,
from
if
the
the
clip.
class is nervous about it, if not, whatever, but I just know I would like to do a rehearsal class.
We're a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing with the leg too, I think I had mentioned this when we were talking about this initially, is one of the classes I took remotely, the teacher kept moving her arms around and it was interfering with the audio.
Mhm.
It was like blocking out the audio. So just another thing, because I don't know, I definitely notice myself doing that when I'm practice teaching. I'm like moving my arms.
Yeah. You're gonna do great. You're gonna be great.
So I know that we're doing adjustments for the, person before.
Mhm.
But are we also doing adjustments while we teach, or do we
Mhm.
just?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's gonna be enough people in the room that you'll wanna adjust while you teach as well. Yeah. Yep, you'll do that. And then at the end, you can all get up off your mat and do Shavasana adjustments for your friends and family. Okay,
I think that's the only opportunity that I'm gonna have to do adjustments because I'm first.
well, you're teaching and if you're
Well,
teaching
yeah,
integration.
other than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not, okay.
Oh, you mean you're not gonna be like a separate adjuster for
Yeah,
someone?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if we're all doing it.
Oh, do we know it's fine?
what's that?
She said we could. She said we could.
Oh, okay.
Just
For just.
Shavasana, just Shavasana.
No, but she's been fine, like the whole thing, for you, because you both first, you can do her.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
Fine.
yeah, I guess that is before
Mine
Shavasana.
first.
And
Never mind.
give everyone
You're
this
good.
little Shavasana. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I
nice.
love that.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yes,
So we are adjusting while we're doing our.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would-
Absolutely. Okay, let's not dwell on it too much, like, cause I think you're creating new questions.
We're procrastinating.
It's all good. Seriously, don't overthink it. Just teach the yoga and do the things that you know to do, and don't worry about the little things. Like, seriously, if you shut Zoom off, it happens all the time. We at one point, we were like, we don't know why Zoom keeps shutting off. We keep losing connection with Zoom. And then it happened and I was like, I pushed the button by accident. And like, I looked over and I was like, oh, that's why it keeps shutting off. Oh, we're not losing Zoom. We're just pushing the button.
We're just hanging out with people.
Exactly. Okay. So today we're gonna do a little check-in. I feel like I've checked in with you already, but I do kind of want to know where you're at this point. But so we'll talk about twists, seated hip openers and forward folds, and then inversions. So again, we don't have a ton to get through, which is kind of nice, so we can kind of just answer questions and things like that. Sorry, I'm just minimizing things because I don't need to have that big old Zoom thing in my face. Okay, so tell me briefly how you are. Let's check in. I feel like I haven't seen you in a little bit. Tell me something good and something that you're struggling with. Okay. Who wants to go? Cool. Thanks, Greg.
Oh, cool. I'm doing all right. Yeah, that's all I got. So that's going well. What's nice outside, I think finally getting a lot of the sequence to click, going through the work, just trying to bow on all the assignments. I haven't typed anything up, but it's all handwritten, so
Cool.
sorry.
Don't be. You can also just take a picture of it and upload it that way if that's, or just email it to me.
I think it'd be longer for you to read my grade.
You'd be surprised. I can decipher Austin's chicken scratch, so.
And you have a child.
Okay.
Um,
Whatever's easiest for you though.
yeah, struggling with cues, that's it. Cues, amazing with cues.
That comes. Just getting those miles under your belt.
I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday was humbling, but also hopeful. I feel like I've got the sequence down pretty well. And I'm working on the cues also. It's like I want to get too many cues out. And struggling with my words because of that.
Sure. Okay. So when you say humbling but hopeful, was it like you taught the whole sequence with your partner? Okay, good. Good, I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, that's what you're here to do, right? Like, you're not here to just teach parts of it, so. Good. Okay.
Something good. I'm dog sitting Jerry again, and I think you were here when I zoomed in with Jerry. He's pretty cool. Something we're struggling with. My left eye just completely blurred out, so that's disappointing. Every so often, does that not happen to anybody else where your like vision in one of your eyes just blurs?
Yeah, but usually only if I'm having like an ocular migraine.
Or if something's in it.
Yeah.
We might be in it. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't anyway. I was hoping I could see it at both eyes today. I'm sorry. I woke up, I went to bed late and woke up early to check in on some dogs who are really good dogs and a tortoise, and I love tortoises. But something we're struggling with apparently today, being on track. But again, yesterday was kind of humbling. It was the first time I've spoken the whole thing out loud, and a little panic inducing because I realized the more anxious I get, the more of the sequence just falls out of my little brain. But also hopeful because I know what to work on now.
Good. Good. Awesome. All right. I hope your eye clears.
Me too. I'm sure it's just something
Disappointing.
It is.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I don't want to talk about yesterday at all. At all. Gloss over it. But I am 99% sure that I have integration and like my little blurbs for friends and family, like in my brain and comes out of my mouth intentionally. So that was a huge win for me after a day. And I feel like I will be fine. I think I think it's gonna be fine. integrate, like, once I memorized one piece, I'm like, okay. Cause I've always struggled with memorization. Embarrassing fun fact about me, I don't know my multiple times tables because I could never memorize them. And it was humiliating, and my math teacher was terrible in 3rd grade. So like I've always struggled with memorization. So it was a huge win for me after the most devastating day ever. To end my day with something basically memorized. So that's where I'm at.
Good job. Yeah, you're not alone in that. I struggle with memorization
It's
too.
just
So
the
it-
worst. It's
yeah.
like I try and I try and I try, and it's like there, and then I go to reach for it. It's like, just kidding, like, you gotta be quicker than that. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Are you putting, so, and this kind of goes for anybody that struggles with memorization and all of that, like, are you getting it into your body as well?
Yeah.
Like, so teach it to yourself, even
Mhm.
if you're reading a script or record yourself
Mhm.
saying the words and then do the practice
Yeah,
while you say the words.
yeah.
That is the only thing that has helped me when it comes to like developing sequences and remembering what the heck I'm even
Yeah.
teaching.
Not to take up more time, but like when I was in high school, I did cheerleading, and the only way I could remember routines, and it was not like fully doing them, but like last night when I was talking my speech, like I would be like hands up, like
Mhm.
partial doing it so I could focus on my words.
Mhm.
But like, if that makes any sense,
It
so
does.
it's like kind of mimicking what was happening.
Yeah. Okay, on that note, elbow pops. Very good.
Trevor's turn.
Trevor.
I thought yesterday was really, really good, and it just needed to happen, and I was really happy that we went through it all.
Good.
I thought it was really helpful. There's a couple sections I need a lot of work on, and then the rest of it I can kind of get through. So that was really nice to just know where I'm at.
Indeed. Yeah, gotta rip that Band-Aid off and do it at some point, right?
Hey, well, that's why I think it was one yesterday. And after it was done, it was, the energy was like, upwards. And I know that I can, give down dog adjustments, because it's the one I just kept coming back to. But it was really, really good. Surrender series. I kind of flubbed a little bit. But I felt good. And even Son B. But I, just kind of kept it moving. Went over time, but like Ashton says, work on it.
Good.
Focus.
Cool. I'm just recording the ceiling.
I thought that was intentional. I was gonna mention it. I appreciated it.
My thoughts on Zoom.
I am feeling good about the sequence. I think that I just need some practice around the adjustments in the latter half of the series. But for cueing, I think that I get like slightly stage fright, so I know the words and I know what I should say, but then I like want to freeze. But the big thing that I think that I struggle with is actually my posture while I'm teaching, because when I get nervous, I want to try to have the confident stance,
Mhm.
but that's not the stance that we should have. So I'm like, I was teaching yesterday and I'm like, what am I doing with my hands? I don't know. So I'm just trying to figure out how to exist in the space while I teach,
Yeah.
when I'm not doing adjustments. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah. If you don't know what to do with your hands, adjust. And if you feel like you're overwhelming your student with adjustments, which it really only happens when it's one-on-one, right? Because when you're actually in a class and you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands, go touch somebody. Sounds weird, but just go do it. Because that'll help ground you as well. But if you don't know what to do with your hands, you can, kind of just put them behind you
Okay.
and just relax for a moment. Yeah, don't stay there. Don't stay there. And yeah, like, don't pace around your student's mat like they're, like a shark.
Needing to adjust
Yeah.
you.
I was-
Get you. Don't do that.
I'm glad you said that, 'cause that's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like lording over you, like, where can I get you next? Good, I'm glad.
Yes, thank you, because I also do pace around that,
Yeah.
but that's only when it's one-on-one.
Yeah,
Okay, so did naps.
Yeah, that's a little less conspicuous.
Bigger sibling.
Yes.
I feel really good. I think yesterday was like amazing, to get to do the whole sequence and see what I really need to work on in the next 2 weeks, which is like encouraging to, because I still have 2 weeks, if not tomorrow. Same as Alexis, I was like, I do the sequence. I'm like, it's like, especially like the warrior dance, I'm like, okay, and then I go like this, and I'm like, no, you're teaching it, I was going around and around and around. And adjusting too, I think, I can be in my head and I'm thinking like, I don't trust myself, was it here, like, so I was just like doing this a lot, like not trusting myself. But in general, like, I feel really good. I feel, we have 2 weeks and that feels like not a lot of time, but it feels like it is. Where after yesterday and the feedback that I got from Gabby, I will say I wish we had more time to have, because this yesterday was the first time we did this, and then we had so much feedback with one another, and we was cut like really short.
Okay.
It was like we had no time to give feedback with each other. Like, it was like a time with the group, but it was like not as personalized. That I feel like for the next students or whatever, like it's great to be able to do that feedback in the moment, because it was the first time we've done something like that.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Feel good. I feel like, I feel confident that we're all gonna get there in 2 weeks.
You will.
I feel really confident that we'll get there. Doing smaller groups, because we've been able to meet a little bit, I feel like I can actually feel and sound like a teacher. Yeah, with like this small group, so I'm just really hoping I can take that and do that for the entire sequence, because when you're more nervous, you lose that posture and the vocal whatnot.
Sure.
I'm good on the first half. I'm not so good on the second half. I'm forgetting cues on the second half. I'm forgetting adjustments on the second half. So I think that's just something I need to watch the videos. I think we're gonna get there. Yeah.
Oh, don't think you're gonna get there. You will get
We
there.
are gonna get there.
You are
We're gonna
absolutely
do
gonna
it.
get there. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've been doing it a long time. You will be fine.
Okay.
You'll get there. You'll get there. It's good to know where like you need to work in terms of like, noticing that on the second side is where you kind of struggle. So just focus there. And, this goes for everybody. You just gotta embrace your inner dork, like when you're teaching, because like, just be okay with weird things coming out of your mouth. Because it happens. Like, on Monday, I was like, oh God, I'm saying things and I shouldn't be saying them, but he thinks it's funny, so we're just gonna go with it. So.
Yesterday too, like, I had a moment where it got sticky with Greg with my partner, and I just went with it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do another halfway left.
There you go.
And I think if we can pause, but then not try to correct ourselves, it's gonna be even better.
Yeah.
Just keep.
Yeah. Either keep going, or like if you goof up and you're like, oh wait, actually, I didn't mean lift your right leg.
Let's do the left.
Actually look forward.
I told Gabby yesterday, pushing to my foot.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like,
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I've told people to bring your ankle to your knee, and I'm like, Okay, we just invented a new joint. It's fine. So just another little side note too, when I was teaching beginners, like I had this this glitch in my brain that every time I would be talking about halfway lift, I would say, bring your hands to your shies or your thins. Every time. And I'm like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. It's all those little quirky things that make you an endearing human.
Oh.
Okay. Laura.
Actually agree with everybody. I mean, as far as yesterday was really helpful and insightful to having us learn or what we need to still learn. I know I struggle with the latter part of the sequence, so. And also what's been helpful too is gathering during the week and you allowing us to use the studio for a few hours and that's been very helpful too. Yeah, I think more so for me, it's like adjustments and then the cues for sure. That I'm struggling with, so, but if I don't know what to do, it's lengthen the spine, just grab the spine and lengthen that way, you know, so. I do that a lot.
Grab the spine.
Grab it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Lift them up, you know,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, that's good.
I don't know, ditto.
Yeah.
I don't know what the multiple of ditto is. Ditto, ditto, ditto. But I don't know. Do you all remember when they would say, if you struggle with public speaking, just imagine everyone in the room in their underwear? I don't know if they still use that or not, because I don't know how actually effective that is. Right? And I don't.
That's how it is.
Well, I'm gonna like switch that in my brain and imagine a room full of Ashlyn's because she was my person yesterday. And I'm just gonna have like the pure soul of Ashlyn on every single mat. And I think that will help me with my nerves.
I love that.
A lot of pressure.
Good job. Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I also love that, but I thought yesterday was pretty good. I was in a group of 3, so it was kind of interesting to teach 2 people at the same time, and I think we did a good job, all of us, but I feel good about the sequence. I'm looking forward to polishing it and getting better with my cues and just kind of infusing more of myself into it
Yeah.
as time goes on, but again, I'm happy that we did it, and I almost wish that we kind of did this a little bit earlier, just to, like I was telling my group, I'm like, it's a necessary evil to like, maybe we've been putting off certain things, but being forced to do it and in this environment, I think is safe and was really helpful for everybody.
Okay, that's good feedback. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. If we had done it just like a week or 2 earlier, and then to Erin's point, give us an opportunity to maybe like run through the whole friends and family before we actually do it. But we'll figure that out as a group, but it was a forcing function for me to realize I'm pretty good up until think about triangle maybe. And so I called a friend, I found a friend when I got home, and I'm like, you gotta come over right now, and we're gonna go through this whole sequence, and I went through it, and she doesn't do yoga. And I realized the words that I was saying were not making sense to her, and I was like, do this, and she was, oh, okay, and so it was interesting to me because I think with all of us, we know what we're supposed to do, so it'll be really interesting on the friends and family, because we'll have such a diverse group of learners in the room and practicing and stuff, so. But I wrote out my my script for the intention for my teach out, and kind of wrote some things for Shavasana and stuff like that, so I have somewhat of a format to go forward, so. And I love your energy, so I appreciate you today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. I'm like, oh.
I
Good, good. No, you trust me. Like I have no qualms that anyone is gonna, yeah, you're all gonna be great. And I'm super excited for the friends and family. Like it's my only chance to really see you teach. So I just get like super like proud and just giddy that like, oh, you're doing it. You're doing the thing. Yeah. And honestly, like I know you're nervous and I know there's like a million questions that you're creating, right? But like trust the yoga, trust yourself, and just have fun with it. Just have fun with it, right? Remember your why. Why are you here? Why are you doing this? Just have fun. Let loose a little bit. Let me see who you are as a teacher. That's the best advice I can give you too for the teach out is just let us see who you are as a teacher, right? Don't worry about it being perfect because come to my class. It's not perfect. You just don't know the sequence. So you have no idea if I messed up my own sequence or not. All the time, all the time. I'm just like, if you see me doing weird things with my hands, I'm counting, right? Like I count while I'm like, cause I'm like, okay, how many times did I have them do this? How many times are we going into this? Yeah, like you'll develop little things that, will help you. And like, talk about like doing the poses too, right? We don't want you doing like inhale, extended mountain. We don't want you doing that, but like you'll see me doing things like this sometimes where I'm like, stop, what are you doing? Like they just do it. So we don't expect perfection. We expect you to bring you to the table. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good. Good, good. Don't screw it up. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. You ready to do some extra postures? How's your body feeling? Do you need a couple minutes to warm up?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do like 6 minutes. Okay. Just take some time, warm yourself up, do some sun salutations. So it's twists, seated forward folds today, and inversions. So make sure you get a couple twisties in there too, okay? Okay.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I thought I almost said bless you to your yawn earlier and I was like, no, hold on.
You are welcome to bless me anytime.
Sometimes I say bless you after people cough and they're like, that was a cough. I was like, but I don't know what to say after you cough.
I did cough, but I love.
If they say that to you, say you're welcome. Yeah, I know, you're welcome.
You are still blessed. You are still blessed.
I do it all the time. Like, yeah, I know.
I will never have a problem with somebody giving me a blessing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when people are like, have an issue with when which I understand, like the Merry Christmas thing.
I work a little bit.
I get it, but also like, they're wishing you a good, what they celebrate. Like,
Yeah. Just spreading
not-
joy.
Not necessarily assuming that that's your holiday, but they're celebrating it.
There's just something like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Take good intended things and make it.
Yeah. But then where's the drama in that?
My favorite thing to say to people when they're like, when you're just trying to chill and you bring in a wild energy is.
Yeah. Make sure you warm up. Get yourself warmed up.
Did you use the blocks on your knees?
I did.
I did it yesterday. Aaron showed them under my legs. Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what's up with your socks?
They look really cool.
They're
Are those
astronaut
dinosaurs?
dinosaurs.
That's amazing. I could see part of it and I was like, what is that?
Right.
That's really cool.
little teamer.
Ashlyn, you were so brave to wear jeans, or are they
Oh, they're
jeggings?
jeggings.
Okay. That's what I said. You were very brave.
Jeggings, they're leggings
Leggings
that look like jeans.
Thought you were talking about the lotion brand, sure.
Style.
Oh, no.
Jerk. Have gotten very strong.
All of them.
Yeah, I felt it when I went climbing. I was like, oh, okay. These are all of the muscles. Really the triceps of the floor. This is like. Hello.
I think you said that, sort of recently.
They just canceled.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
My hip flexor is still fucked. That's fine. I just need to like talk to the VA and have them give me the.
Yeah.
They already say that. Fucked. Look up, here comes, there it is.
Rachel, have you seen my message to you already? Oh, don't do it now.
What is the significance of
Whatever.
the logs on your?
I can't.
It's just they're lungs, but they're flowers.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
I have when I.
well, a friend of mine had thyroid cancer and she has like,
Oh,
it was like, it's kind of very similar looking,
Gotcha,
like the
yeah.
flowers, so I was like.
I just have, all right, insight into weird Kristen. I have a thing with like bones and like anatomical pictures. Like I collect bones.
Yeah, these are bobcat teeth, so I'm here
Yeah.
with you.
I have a collection of bones
That's
in
not
my
weird.
house. What's that? And rocks. Mhm.
I have this phrase that women are dragons.
Mm.
We like to collect things like that.
Mhm.
Some men are also dragons.
Yeah, I was hiking with my sister-in-law one time and she was like, her dog went after something and I was like, she's
That's
like, oh
gonna
my
be-
God, what is that? And I was like, I don't know, let me go see. And it was this like huge like femur bone from like a cow or like an elk or something.
Yeah.
And she just looks at me and I was like, mine, put it in my backpack. She's like, you are so weird. I'm just like,
So when I was in field artillery school, we do this active event where we shoot things and then we go out to the impact zone while other people are shooting things.
oh.
And on the way, there's a lot of debris.
Mhm.
And it's illegal to take it,
Okay.
but we're like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, to like told that we can.
Okay.
So I picked up, and I have it, this giant piece, and I'm looking, and it's like 5 pounds of just straight steel. So I have that, but slightly more deranged. They're like, just make sure whatever you pick up is not like going to explode.
Explode, yeah.
So I made my entire class very nervous because I was just like
Taking all.
taking everything. Like I had like a sack of federal property that you're not supposed to have.
Okay.
It's at my house and I have it.
He's like
Trapped.
Tiny Bones, I think it's Tiny Bones something, Tiny Bones jewelry,
Mm,
I think, and they make like little earrings.
yeah, I'm not usually very outward about my weird obsessions, but
My
yeah.
sibling loves bones, so they have like a little bone key necklace. And they have like this shaky thing that's a ram's horn. thing. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a ram's horn, and it has a bunch of other bones on it, and you shake it and it makes clickety clacks. And one time they tried to hand it to me, and I was like, I love that for you. I don't want to touch it.
I don't know, I love stuff like that. Makes me happy.
One time when I was hiking, I found a skull of a small rodent.
Mm.
And I very bravely picked it up and took it home, and my mom was like, that stinks. I was like, I know, but Ryan's gonna be so happy. I'm like, it's a skull and an intact one.
Okay, friends, start to wind down so that we can get into twists, yeah?
I can hear you buttering with yourself. Here, and then I'll. The cues and stuff, yeah. She got so long.
Yeah. Muscles.
I can't do that. You look comfortable.
That's still like the thing I started panicking. Is like anything kind of splits related and I start, my body like, do not move.
So trick your body, pull your feet in towards one another, right? So like rather than letting your legs come apart and really leaning into the stretch, engage and try to pull your feet towards one another. So it's like, it kind of tricks your muscles, your nerves into being like, I'm not in danger because like, I'm not gonna snap my inner thighs because I'm engaging them. It actually works.
This is lower than I think I've gone.
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
It's working.
Okay, friends, let's come back around. If you're finishing up some movement, please do. But let's talk about. Gotta give it a second. There we go. Okay. I have like really bad reflux and coffee just almost came back up. So you're welcome. That's not gonna do anything. I kept it down. You're welcome. What do twists do in your body? So from an energetic, physiological, whatever standpoint, whatever you want to talk about. What happens?
Is it the lumbar spine or the thoracic spine?
Yes, all of it.
Okay.
Digestive, say more.
So it can help you move the things, it seems like when you twist, it kind of like scrunches things this way.
Mhm.
And then it opens up when it scrunches things this way.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking about intestines, it's like.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
right?
technical terms, you know, scrunches and squishes. Yeah.
This, with the spine, we do the axial extension up and down, but. then
Sure do.
The rotation
Mhm.
goes. Right, the twist, it applies the rotation of the spine.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So what are some of those benefits? What are you getting out of that?
Opening. I don't know,
Opening?
the use of your spine, like the more flexible it is, determines your age of health.
Oh, I'm screwed. Yeah, I mean, it does, it can, twists can, when they're done properly, can help keep the spine supple, right? And keep it functioning properly. Mhm. What else?
I feel like it could be a mix of, depending on what kind of twist, of maybe for the energetics aspect, like Samana and maybe prana energy,
Mhm.
depending on how you're doing it.
Yeah. Ew, look at you. What, how do you want your name on your certificate?
Just a nerd, let it be.
No, just, so she was talking about, like the energetics, so Samana Vayu is a big one with this, yeah, because it's that like internalizing, like pulling everything in towards the center, right? But a little bit of prana too, depending on,
You're open or not.
yep, yeah, yeah. We can use twists to help neutralize the spine after like deep forward bends, deep back bends, things like that. And not only, so Erin, you said opens, right? But it can open the chest, the shoulders, the neck, things like that too, right? And to answer, to kind of add on to Ashlyn with like lumbar or thoracic, it's all of the spine. Generally speaking, your thoracic spine has more mobility in terms of twisting than your lumbar spine, but we're restricted by the ribs. So a lot of times it feels like, oh no, but I could really dump a lot more into my lumbar spine because you're not restricted by the ribs. But in reality, what we want to do is, like Ben said, find that extension, find that axial extension, and then rotate, right? So that if you're sitting here like this, right, you're all slumped over and you try to twist, like you are just going to dump it all into your lumbar and your cervical spine, and you're not going to get the benefit of opening up through the thoracic spine. So we want to sit up tall and then find the rotation. So you rotate more through the thoracic spine and then let the cervical spine follow, okay? As much as you can, right? If you're like me and your spine does all kinds of weird curve things, then like when I go this way, I'm like, yeah, that's about all of that as far as I can go, right? But you work with what you've got, yeah. Okay. It can stimulate and tonify the internal organs, but I kind of want to pull a thing out of your brain if it happens to be there about like twists. Sometimes you'll hear like, oh, twists detoxify your body. No, they don't. They don't. It can stimulate the internal organs and help promote better digestion and things like that, because you're essentially like massaging the internal organs, right? So that's why we twist towards the right first and then towards the left, so that we're not backing things up, so to speak.
Can I ask a question about that? Because it was forever ago, but I heard you twist to the right first because that's the way your like lower intestines go, is they like.
Your large intestine. Yeah, you're following your large intestine.
Oh.
So if you twist the wrong way, are you going to break yoga? Sure aren't. But if you do it enough, you might find that you're a little gassy. Right? Yeah, it is a thing. It is like a, you know, especially if like you're really breathing while you're doing the twists too. Okay. You should be. You really should be breathing. Okay, so let's talk about the couple of twists that I have. We've got revolved triangle and half Lord of the Fishes, which is not an accurate name for that pose. I don't like using it, but we'll get there in a minute.
Is it cow face? Or is that totally different?
Gomukhasana? That's more of like a hip opener.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk. Okay, so let's start with standing, because thinking about it in terms of what is moving when you're thinking about twists, right? So think about crescent lunge versus a supine twist, right? In revolved crescent, what is stable?
My leg.
Your legs, like your hips, right? Your hips are stable. What is moving? What is twisting? Shoulders, right? So think of it in terms of shoulders and hips, okay? So when you're in that revolved crescent, your hips are stable and your shoulders are twisting, yeah? When you're doing a supine twist where you're on your back, what's stable? Shoulders. And what's doing the twisting? Your hips, okay? So when you're planning your classes, you kind of want to have that in the back of your mind, right? It's going to be a little bit more accessible for people to start with having the hips stable, right? Because you're starting with that stable base and moving the shoulders into the twist. Whereas a deeper twist is going to be where your shoulders are more stable and you're rotating your hips, right? Because the chances of you then loading into your low back are probably a little bit higher with that. So you want to be a little bit more careful. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to start with, let's start with revolved triangle. Parivrita, Trikonasana. Trikonasana. The O sound. Okay. Grab a block, please. if you don't want to have one already.
My little shoes.
Oh.
Like sauces and like usually did sauce and I said playful, but I wanted to say childlike
Oh, yeah,
and not
just
not
pure,
yeah.
yeah,
But I was afraid it would sound wrong.
right. Okay. Oh, you've got your blocks. Stand up. Please, please. Okay, who remembers how to get into Warrior One? What is Warrior One? Do we remember Warrior One?
Feet are train tracked.
Okay, feet are train tracked,
The back foot steps in.
back foot steps in a little bit. Okay, so how would you cue someone into this? Like, where are you gonna start from?
Feet train tracked.
Yeah.
Down dog, okay, so let's do it.
So we're-
Downward facing dog. All right, Gabby, you just volunteered yourself. All right,
Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, the lunge.
ooh, but now what? So now we're stuck with that narrower stance.
Gaze forward.
No,
And
not
then-
crescent lunge.
Straight, do that.
Ooh, that was a lot of moving, wasn't it? I want you to think about it.
You can't just raise up to warrior. Crescent. And then warrior two.
Well, that's Warrior Two, but I need you in Warrior One. Okay, downward facing dog. I'm gonna help you out. And just know, like, remember, this is just like, you don't need to know this for teach out or anything like that, but I just wanted to kind of get your brain online. All right, right leg lifts. Now, as you step through to low lunge, bring your toes behind your right wrist. Now step your left foot forward ever so slightly, spin your back heel down and lift up. So back heel is on the floor. Your toes point off towards the left upper corner of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Okay, make sure both hip points face forward towards the front of the space. But now from there, straighten your front leg. And then bring your left arm up. Okay, so I'm gonna make you work here a little bit. So we're gonna do, let's turn this so that nobody at home can see. Okay, so we've got right foot forward, left leg back. Bring your right hand behind your low back, palm faces out. Okay, lift up. And I want you to keep, now watch as I do this, I want you to keep your arm lifted and really reach through your inner elbow as you start to come down and then lower down. Fingers touch down and then lift back up. Okay, with your breath, exhale, 4 counts down. Fingertips touch and then lift back up, inhale. Keep your inner elbow reaching up. So that is where the length in your spine is going to come from. You need this length. Do it a couple more times. Continue to lengthen your exhale. One more revolution, one more time. And down. And up. Squeeze your inner thighs as you lift up. But now this time, come down and stay. And you'll find a pyramid pose. So this is pyramid pose. You can release your other hand down towards the floor, or you can bring your hands back behind your back, whatever feels good to you. So play around with different sensations here. So when I say bring your hands behind your back, I don't necessarily mean get a chest expansion with the hands away from your low back. Just clasp. Clasp your hands behind your back and let your hands rest on your low back. Good. And then maybe a little tuck in your chin. And breathe. Lift and spread your front toes. Keep that same engagement and let your toes relax. Now bring your left hand down to a block. and your right hand to your heart. Keep your hips stable and level. And as you inhale, start to rotate your chest open towards the right. Keep your hand on your heart. Use that as a guide, right? So you're rotating your heart using a little bit of traction on your hand. Good. And then when you've gotten as far as you're going to go into your rotation, then let your arm come up. Check out your legs. Are your legs still really strongly engaged? Breathe. Don't hold your breath. I hear the grunts. Good Lord. No grunties, Lord. Take another deep breath in. And then come on down. Good. Slowly roll up. Step your feet together. Front or back of your mat, doesn't matter, because now you're gonna do it on the left side. Here.
Interrupt and ask. a
You can.
question. I have pain here with stances like this.
Okay.
Putting that kind of pressure and it hits that outside tibia. What am I doing now?
I don't know, I have to look at you.
Okay,
Okay. So I'm gonna have you do it on the left side. Do you get it on both sides?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't remember until I'm like, oh, look at that.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's find out. Okay, do it again on the left side. So you can guide yourself through. Start from downward facing dog. And then do your left side. And I want you to think about what you're feeling, what you're sensing. Make adjustments as you need it. Remember, back toes. Your foot is at anywhere between like a 45-degree to like a 60-degree angle. Just depends on what you've got going on. Heel is down. And then lead yourself through a couple of those folds. Just try to even yourself out. Imagine I've got you by the arm and I'm pulling your spine really long as you fold. This is your chance to get like a 1/4 of an inch taller. That 1/4 of an inch is important when you're 5'2". When you feel ready, you can work yourself slowly into the twist. So remember, hips are stable and the shoulders are doing the rotation. So from mid back up is doing the rotation. Legs are strongly engaged. You're squeezing your inner thighs. There you go. And so you rotate towards the front leg, always rotating towards the front leg. Unless you're creating another human, then you twist away from your other leg. Are you breathing? I don't hear breath. All right, your head is either looking straight ahead, down, or up. When you feel satisfied and even, you know how to get yourself out of it. Come back up. Okay. All right, so Thea, do you have it on the other side?
I didn't feel it as much.
Okay, so real quick, come to the side that hurts. And then just step your foot back. Okay. Why? I already know why. What's up? Look at your foot.
Okay.
Okay, so you see what you're doing? You're rolling to the outside of your foot and you're curling your toes in this way. So I want you to press down through the big toe edge, spread your toes. Okay, engage your quad, pull it this way. Good, now stay long and then fold. Different. You're just all right. So what are we feeling? What are we noticing with revolved triangle, Parivrtta Trikonasana? You can stay standing or you can sit. It's up to you.
But it doesn't mean that you spread your toes out.
The cue spread your toes confuses me, because I can't like. I can't spread my toes out, like, I think of spreading your fingers, but I can't do that with my toes.
You can.
Think of
You-
it as engaging.
You
Okay,
you
got it.
can, but really what that cue is trying to get you to do is to go from here
Mhm.
to here. And just pressing through the
Yeah.
corners of your feet.
And then you're engaging, think of it as engaging the tips of your toes.
So like, do you all know like in terms of how you stand normally? Like, do you have good balance in your feet from big toe to pinky toe? Or do
We
you,
lean into our big toes.
yeah, or do you more pronate? Okay, so where you're standing, take a couple of hops and then land. Do it again, do it a couple times until you get a good sense of where you are. Okay, so notice like, where is the weight distributed without changing anything? Don't change anything. Where is the weight distributed in your feet? Is it in your heels or is it in the ball of your foot? Is it in the pinky toe edge or the big toe edge? Or is it fairly well distributed? Okay. Okay, so if it is not distributed, I want you to try to get there. So think about lifting your toes, spreading your toes, even if your toes like don't move. My husband always like rolls his eyes at me. He's like, I live in climbing shoes. This is not a thing. So like lift and spread your toes. So lift them up off the ground. Okay. Does that feel more balanced when you do that? Okay. See if you can keep that same sensation and let your toes relax a little bit without rolling in or rolling out. Okay, so try those things when you're like standing in line at the grocery store or waiting for whatever. Okay. Okay. So that's essentially like when I say lift and spread your toes, that's really the sensation that we're looking for. It's just that like sensation of like my foot being balanced.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got confused, because I was like, I'm lifting my toes and they, like, they're not, I thought, I was thinking of like, you know, when they're like, spread your fingers and press into all of them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so I want like visible gaps between my toes, and I was like, I could only get little ones.
That's okay. Some gap is better than no gap.
That's true.
Okay. So what do we think about revolved triangle? Okay, so what are some things that you're feeling? What are some things that needs to be open for this to work, like, and warmed up? Hamstrings? Yeah,
I think you have to be like, maybe not warm, but like you need to be in touch with where your hips are.
oh yeah.
Cause I noticed like when they were not even, I wasn't able to twist as much.
Mm-hmm.
So, but just the awareness of where your hips are is like really important, I think, in any twist, but this one.
Sure.
I know, I noticed the same, like I was kind of dropping the knee and like
Mm-hmm.
crunching, and then when I just like pulled my hip, the knee, the hip, like
Mhm.
up, I was like, whoa, I grew.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to think about it, like it's
Yeah.
my natural, like my natural is to, like.
Yeah.
Like once you're aware of it, you're like, oh.
Yes, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, good, good. And that's why, so a lot of times what you'll see is, when you have students come into this and you have them rotate their arm towards the sky, the arm is what tends to drive the twist. And what'll happen there is you'll get into it and you'll have your students do this. So do you see what immediately happens to like my spine and my hips, right? So when I have you rotate the heart first and then bring the arm up, my arm is not in line, right? I'm not in a straight line, but that's the rotation that I have, but it's keeping my hips stable and blocked. Now, when I say blocked, I don't want you to think about getting completely like squashed into position, right? Because we want to, when we force the body to stay in a position and don't allow it to move, that's when we create problems, right? So if you see a student whose hip is kind of dropping down a little bit, that's okay. That's okay. If your hip drops down a little bit, that's okay. What I'm more concerned about is, are your legs engaged? If your legs are engaged to support the movement and the nutation of your hips, then you're okay. And I'm not going to mess with you. But if your legs are not engaged, or like Bethia, like with your foot, if your foot is doing some weird stuff, like I'm gonna make you engage your legs rather than focus on cranking you into the twist. Does that make sense?
There are adjustments for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who's feeling pretty good and open for an adjustment? I can show some adjusting. Okay. And you can kind of play around with them with each other as well. So whatever leg you want to come forward with. Not the ceiling again. Okay, good. You're going the wrong way. No. Okay, the first thing first, I'm gonna make sure your foot's doing some weird steps, so we're gonna straighten your foot out. And I'm gonna take this way, so all I'm doing is suggesting that she rotate her own femur a little bit. Sorry. Okay, and then I'm gonna match hips. I'm actually gonna bring you this way just a little bit. So she looks like she's got some good length, right? So I'm not really gonna mess a lot with the twisting. What's that?
Are you supporting her? with
Mhm.
your-
Yeah, and I'm mostly just keeping her hips stable. Like you see, her left hip is dropped a little, or right hip is dropped a little bit, but her legs are really strong and engaged here, so I'm not really gonna bother with that so much. Come out of it. Okay. You good? Yeah. Okay. There was a lot of noises. I wasn't sure.
Noises.
Okay, I do too. I just don't know.
Yeah,
Are
it
they
just
good noises or
happens.
just noises? Okay. Um. Blocks are great for this. Blocks have different heights. So you can always, if someone is really like collapsed and compressed, you can offer to maybe switch the height of their block, give them a little bit more lift. Questions? Oh, where would you put it? How would you work this into a sequence?
No.
Triangle.
Triangle.
Triangle, but you would have to replace, right? So you wouldn't be doing triangle. You would be doing warrior 1 instead of warrior 2, right? Because think about hip orientation, right? So you would replace it. You do warrior 1 to pyramid to revolved, right? Okay. Okay. So let's talk about Ardha. Matsyendrasana. Yeah. So loosely translated to Half Lord of the Fishes, but it is like, it's got a rich story that we don't have time to talk about. So just know that Half Lord of the Fishes kind of like, plus also like, it's clunky to say Half Lord of the Fishes. Generally, if you say Ardha Matsyendrasana, your students know where you're going. So seated twist, okay? So sit in Dandasana for me, staff pose, please. And we wanted to make sure we're twisting in the right directions. So keep your left leg extended out, bend your right knee, and then take your foot to the outside of your left leg. Okay, now sit here for a moment, maybe grab hold of your knee and sit up tall. So find that extension through your spine. And then still holding your knee with your left hand, take your right hand back behind you as close to your spine as you comfortably can get it. So your hand is on the floor and use that as like a kickstand to lift yourself even taller. And then left arm reaches up, find lots of length. And then as you exhale, rotate your chest and either grab hold of your knee or bring your elbow to the outside of your thigh. Mine doesn't do that. So we just hug, but sit up tall. And as you exhale, rotate your chest towards the right. If it feels okay, you can look over your right shoulder. But breathe. Can you sit up tall? Now you can always tuck your left heel in towards your right glute and kind of give yourself a little bit more of that pretzely, but it's not necessary. And one thing that I find is having my leg extended gives me a little bit more of an anchor, right? Because if I am here, my right hip as I twist is going to have the tendency to drift back. Now, that's okay. That's okay if my hip twist like kind of drifts back, so long as I'm still getting the rotation in my thoracic spine. If I'm just doing that and letting my hip do the work, I'm not actually twisting my spine, right? So this gives you a little bit more of an anchor to let the twist come more into your upper back, okay?
If you're doing it like this, are you actively trying to keep your hips like facing that way in order to do that?
Ish,
Okay,
ish.
so you should like really feel it kind of in your glute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll feel it kind of like in that same spot that you feel pigeon.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's a good question though, right? So again, like I don't like to force the body to stay in one position. If my hip naturally moves back a little bit, I'm gonna let it be. I'm not gonna mess with it. But it's where like if it gets so far back that I'm not even getting anything in the twist, that I might change something. Yeah. That's why having my leg extended helps that. So I stay more anchored. Okay. So try her again on the other side, will you? And you can do it on your own, get yourself set up. And so I want you to think about, rather than like, yes, you're using some leverage, right? So your arm presses into your leg presses into your arm. But I want you to think about letting your core muscles help with the twisting. So as you inhale, let your belly soften forward. And as you exhale, pull and activate your low belly to draw your abdomen. Good, so sit up tall. See if you can let on this side, what side are you on? You got left? Yeah, let your left shoulder drive the twist. So drive your left shoulder back. Good, shoulder blades down.
She's close to our pelvis, our left hand should be close to the pelvis.
As close as is comfortable. Yeah, because that'll help keep that axial extension happening in your spine rather than letting yourself dump into your low back. If you're like, I'm super twisty, right? And I like to twist and I get here, but I feel like I can get a little bit more. You can actually, let me turn around so you can see. Man, oh my gosh. So you can come and you can walk your hand across the midline to help open up a little bit more. Okay, that'll help open your chest more. You'll get more of that chest expansion feeling with that. But if you let your hand get away from your body, the tendency is going to be to kind of slump and round into it. And then that puts everything in, it loads into the low back, and we don't want that. You're just taking it out of the twist. Okay.
What is the name of this one again?
Ardha Matsyendrasana. Ardha Matsyendrasana, half Lord of the Fishes. Okay.
I'm going through those cues once more, real quick.
What's that?
Mind going through those cues once more, real quick.
Yeah, they're in the worksheet if you want them there. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a forward?
I was waiting for it. There is. So it's, my legs don't do it, but instead of having the bottom leg extended, it's actually in this position. So it comes over the top and then you twist that way. But this should be down and yeah, it's, yeah, my legs don't do that.
Which leg is supposed to be down?
What's that?
The full, is it this leg?
So it's whatever you're twisting towards, the leg comes into that like lotus position. Yeah, it's silliness.
No.
There's no,
I was
yeah,
gonna
good
say,
luck.
no. I was
And
trying to
everything.
Yeah.
find-
Nah. And you know what? It's all right. You don't ever have to be able to do it. Okay, so let's move on to forward bends and hip openers. Half Lord of the Fishes, Ardha Matsyendrasana, typically towards the end of class, like after camel is nice. Just make sure that you give your students time to sit before you take them into a deep twist like that, because remember the paperclip phenomenon, we don't want to bend the spine in all kinds of different directions real quick, okay? Forward bends and hip openers. So we've got, let's do Janu Shirshasana. Janu Shirshasana. Head to knee forward bend. So this one is all about the compression on the front side. So with this, right, so forward bends can be kind of calming to the nervous system, but they can also like really bring up some anxiety for people because you're exposing your whole backside, right? You're exposing your backside. You can't see what's going on behind you. It's kind of like a little bit claustrophobic. So, but with this one, it is less about the leg that's extended being straight and more so about bringing your forehead to your knee. Okay. And so bring your, let's do right leg out first. So kind of at an angle, not straight out of your hip, but slight angle. And then left foot comes to the inner thigh, your heel close to your groin. If we're going to be really traditional and classical, you would actually sit on your heel with this one, but that's not comfortable. That is not, yeah, no, it's not. Thanks for trying it and being a good sport, but yeah, it's not comfortable. So you press your foot to the inner thigh of your right leg and then sit up tall and then rotate your chest so it faces your outstretched leg. Bend your knee a little bit, arms come up, and then round over so that you bring your forehead towards your knee. So this is one that we're not necessarily looking for that straight spine. You actually want to curve, bend your knee as much as you need to make this happen. Okay, and then once you have that, hands can rest wherever is comfortable, maybe the foot, the ankle, or just resting on the mat beside your leg. But then I want you to think about your body in space. See if you can visualize your shoulders and maybe bring your shoulders a little bit more level. So typically the side that you're moving away from, that shoulder wants to lift up a little bit. So your left shoulder needs to come down a little bit. Compressing. So this is, you're getting a good compression around the front side of the body. A little Jalandhara Bandha with the tuck of your chin. Okay, so come on up when you're ready and you can try out the other side. And when you try out the other side, I want you to think about the movements. So it's primarily a forward bend / hip opener, but what else is happening? What else are you getting in this? So go ahead and move into the other side and feel it. What's
I felt sure that was here now, or I want to do it again.
Okay.
I did feel it someplace different.
okay?
Is this like the swing that you're talking about?
No, like your heel right into your perineum.
Oh, so like up.
Mm-mm. No, like
It's like-
in.
Oh.
Yeah.
It does not sound comfortable.
I was gonna say, it's not like the top of my foot starts to box.
Yeah.
But is this true?
Yeah, you want to let your knee come out a little bit more though. Mhm. Mhm.
Ooh, I feel like in my right arm felt a little bit.
My foot doesn't do that though. Like I don't even like child's pose a lot of the time because of
You don't like
the
to
angle.
do that with your
Mhm.
it's like flex.
Mhm.
I just
So what
wanted to-
else? What else are you feeling here?
I feel it, I don't know if this part's called.
Stretch them a little bit.
And I feel it stretching.
Yeah.
It's really, when I begin to drop my right elbow
Oh yeah.
down, I feel that strain all down that side.
Mhm.
Especially for.
Okay. Yeah, but what's the mechanism that's happening? So like, what's the action that's happening? So forward bend, remember, like we've got the asana families, like this also fits into another asana family. That we just did.
Like twist.
Yeah. It's like we just did it. Yeah, so you get a little bit of a twist with this as well.
Sorry, what page are these on? I can't find it in mine right now.
It's a handout. Do you have it? It was just a separate handout. It was not in the manual.
Gabby printed like everything.
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So for this, lots of props that you can use actually with this. So I know you just had your like props workshop thing, but so what props do you think can help with this? A block. Where are you gonna put a block? Under the knee that's extended, or what are we talking about? Be specific.
I think of like propping your knee up like this.
Yeah.
So there's not as much active pulling your leg up.
Yeah, the leg that's extended, also the knee that's bent. Yeah, supporting the knee that's bent.
Long arms, long legs, I was thinking.
Okay, block it on the foot, sure. Strap, how are you gonna use a strap? On the foot?
Around your bent foot to get more of a stretch. through the
Absolutely.
body. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what about a blanket? How would you use a blanket? Under your hips, yeah. Lift your hips up a little bit.
Or if you don't want it as high as the block, you can roll it up and put it in
For sure.
the outline.
Good. I love props. Props are so good.
You put it here to keep your hips.
You can. Generally, though, your hips aren't gonna be too cattywampus with this one. What's more gonna happen is somebody who's tight in the inner thighs is gonna have a harder time letting their knee fall, which would be uncomfortable. So a block to support it would be really good. If it was more like the leg was positioned this way, then yeah, you would probably put a block under this hip to lift your hips a little bit, but not so much. Cool. Please come towards the end of class. Like nothing, like, you know, your seated forward folds. Instead of Paschimottanasana, you can just do one of these, right? What about next one is Upavishta. Upavishta Konasana. Yeah. Which is so much easier than saying wide angle seated forward fold. Straddle. Okay, so straddle is one that's like, it's the same pose as, right, you're just, your relationship to gravity has changed, which is interesting because, right, in wide-legged forward fold, I feel like I have a lot of like flexibility and I can really kind of start working myself really deep into the fold, but then put my butt on the earth and I'm like, I can't do it. It's like, what is going on? Because now you have your hips blocked against the earth, so it can be a little bit more difficult. So what I want you to do is to bring your legs apart to a comfortable distance. So the distance that you feel sitting like this, you shouldn't feel much of a stretch and you should be able to sit up tall. If you feel your low back doing this, then I need you to bring your legs in a little bit closer. Okay. Now, if you get yourself to a spot where you can sit up, I want you to bend your knees a little bit, but like pull, use a bit of that traction, active feet, and sit up even taller. Okay. I just changed my workout again and my inner thighs are like, why are we doing this? So arms come up. And then as you exhale, I want you to bow forward and goal post your arms. Keep your chest leaning forward. Good. Inhale, sit back up. Exhale, pull forward. Do this a couple times, really leading with your heart. Squeeze your elbows back. So if your elbows are here, I want you to think about squeezing I know, I'm sorry. I'm looking right at you, Trevor.
Should you feel it like in the?
Oh, you
very
will feel
inner,
it. Mhm.
Like the very, very.
Like
inner
right at the
hip
top.
flexors?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was
Yeah, I
like,
can
is that,
feel it in my-
should I be concerned?
Have I hurt myself?
No, you will feel it like right up in here. Mhm.
Not, it's like, I'm like, it's the very top, very inner hip flexor.
Yeah,
And usually you don't feel that, so I started
Yeah,
feeling it and I
no.
was
correct.
like, uh-uh.
Okay, and so this is all to get you warmed up for that long spine, right? So once you've done that a couple times, then you can let your hands come down. Right now, know that this is also perfect. You can stay here with your hands behind your back to help keep you upright, and you're still going to get that stretch on your inner thighs. Yeah. Okay. If you can keep your spine up and maybe bring your hands forward, this is perfect. You don't have to go any further than this, right? If you start to come forward, I want you to try to reach your tailbone back a little bit so that you keep a little bit of a taller spine. And then when you get to a spot where you're like, I think my whole spine can round at about the same rate, then you can round down. Just protecting so that you don't load one part of your spine more than the other. Okay. Did you master yoga if you get your chest all the way down to the floor?
No.
Did you break yoga if you didn't get your chest to the floor? You're doing just fine.
So you flex your feet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so keep your toes pointed in the same direction as your knees. So that means toes point up, knees point up. Because what happens is if you start to come forward, like feel it, let your toes rotate in, you take it out of your inner thighs. You're just not getting the effect of the stretch. Yeah. Yeah, so really working into those deep hip muscles. Mhm. Good Lord. What's that?
I did a little scream and then said, anyways.
Yeah. And my hip flexors are weak and tight, and it's like, yeah, it hurts.
Is that, like, if your hip flexors are weak and tight, that means like you can't bend forward, right? Like I shouldn't say you can't, but it's harder to do like forward folds.
You feel it in
Maybe,
that opening,
Okay.
like in,
potentially,
like lizard lunges, like.
yeah.
I
So if
feel
you
it.
want to strengthen, you want to strengthen your hip flexors, friends, get yourself a block, and maybe we'll do this on Monday.
Mm.
You get a block, and you sit up tall, right? And then start with the lowest position of your block, and yeah.
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 Mine is injured and I feel it right there.
Yeah, yeah. But you gotta sit up tall, right? If you start to do this, I could do this all day, right? But when I sit up tall, low belly draws in and I isolate my hip flexor, my leg's like, I don't. It's just interesting, like what else in your body decides it wants to help you.
I did like 2 years of physical therapy on my hip flexor and I can't get it like.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Start even lower than the block. Start even lower than the block. Just slide, okay? It's great, I love it.
I love this so much.
It's amazing. Okay, friends. Oh, I'm having all kinds of ideas.
Maybe I won't be there on that day.
No, you will be. You already signed
I
up.
know.
I'll just text you and be like, where are you? Okay, so I do want to have enough time to talk about inversions because so with inversions, particularly the inversions that I've got listed here. So we've got plow pose, which is halasana. Halasana. We have shoulder stand. Supported shoulder stand, which is, this one's always fun, Shalamba.
Shalamba.
Sarvangasana.
Sarvangasana.
Shalamba Sarvangasana. And then Shalamba Shirshasana, which is supported headstand. Okay, so these three poses, they're not necessarily poses that I want you to go out and teach. They're not necessarily poses that are right for everybody. But I want you to know the safest ways to practice them, because they're really effective poses if they work for you in your body. I don't want to scare you away from any of these. They can be really invigorating, right? They can be really energizing. We're kind of flipping upside down again-ish. So know that they have a lot of benefit. But again, I want you to do it safely so that you can practice yoga for a long time. Okay. And I also want you to be empowered when you see your students doing these in a way that is not so safe, that you know how to help them be safer, right? I don't generally teach these. I mean, I might teach a shoulder stand, but I have to know my students' practice. Like I can't, in a power class where I have like over 20 people, like I can't pay attention to everybody's neck, right? So I want to make sure that everybody is safe. But if I have someone come into it, I know that I can keep them safe, right? I know the cues to tell them to keep them safe, okay? So that said, if you want to do these, I want you to do them. If you're like, nope, I've hurt my neck, I have any sort of cervical stuff going on in my neck, don't do them, okay? You can sit and observe and like really watch and see what's going on, okay?
Potty break?
Yeah.
I just don't wanna miss anything.
Oh.
Anyone else need a break?
Just-
I'll be right back.
Go.
Oh, sorry.
Go, go, go.
Hurry up.
Go, go,
I've
go.
been holding it.
Aw,
I don't wanna.
I gotta plug in anyway. Well, those of you that are going to do it, grab a blanket, please. I will set you up, like, if you want to try it, like, I know you've got, I don't want you to hurt your back, but know that, like, there's ways that we can do this. Actually, grab yourself a chair too, if you're like, you want to experience some of, yeah.
Right now?
I mean, if you want to.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was like, where? And then yes, I'm sorry.
No, no, no.
I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. You're good. Because a chair is actually really helpful with this, with plow anyway. Yeah, if you have tight hamstrings, you got some back injuries, things like that, a chair is gonna be really helpful. Just trust me. I see some looks like, what are we doing with a chair? Just trust me. What's that? Oh, you just want to sit in it.
I think I vaguely remember this assist with a chair. When I was in high school, the person I was dating, their mom was a yoga teacher. They're like my favorite person in the world. And he tried to get me to do it. They said, you just need to do this. I was like, fuck off, like I can't do this.
Yeah.
15
You just need-
I was like, no, absolutely not.
My bendy 8-year-old will like regularly just like plop himself into plow pose. I was like, oh, kid,
like when I
enjoy it, because
When I
it goes
had
away.
When I had Zion on class with me those
Yeah.
days, he was just like mimicking me. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
Your 3-year-old's body can just like.
Nothing humbles you like a kid. Okay, so if you're trying it, you both have a blanket, so we're good. Okay, so blankets. Can I actually use your blanket real quick just so that I can show you? You want to get your blanket folded at least to this width, okay? So you want a nice like width of blanket there. You can also stack a couple of blankets, but what you're gonna do is bring the blanket, so you'll lie on your back, bring the blanket right about here so that your head can kind of rest on the floor, okay? Because in plow, we want to make sure plow and shoulder stand that there is space between the back of your neck and the floor. Okay, so while yes, you will compress a little bit into the cervical spine, I don't want it so much like this. Okay, it needs to be the back of the neck has space and you bring your chest towards your chin. Okay,
Like a double.
So those of you that are using the chair, I want you to bring the chair close enough behind your head so that you can bring your feet onto the chair. Now, listen closely because there's a couple of things that I want you to pay attention to. The strength of this pose comes from active legs, okay? So when I start to cue you into this, you will support your low back until your feet land on something, okay? You will not let go of your low back until your feet are on something for support and your legs are strongly engaged, okay? Okay, so come on down to your backs if you're trying it. Make sure that your head, so Ashlyn, I'm gonna need your blanket a little bit more under your shoulder blades. It'll feel weird. So your chest should be lifted, your head is off the block or off the blanket. Okay, now from here, you'll draw your knees in towards your chest, grab hold of your hips under your low back, and then start to kick your legs up over your head. Oh yeah. Okay, once you're there, extend your legs over so that they land on something, whether that's the chair, the floor behind you. Okay, hands are strongly on your back. Now, Hannah, curl your toes. Press your toes into the floor and press your heels back. Inner thighs squeeze towards one another. Yes, Gabby, more press of the backs of your knees towards the sky. Low belly is engaged. Yes, yes, yes.
Like this?
Yep. Yep. So Hannah and Gabby, if you want to, you can release your hands and clasp your hands. Yep. And then press your hands into the floor. So pinkies press into the floor. Okay.
I love this.
Good. Are you breathing?
No.
Okay. Appreciate your honesty. Okay, those of you that are trying to get up into it, hang on. Okay, come down when you're ready, nice and slow, roll down out of it. Okay. And I want you to see a couple of things. Okay, I'm not gonna do this because I have hurt my neck and my neck is not in a place where I want to do this right now. So I'm actually gonna have Hannah and Gabby come back into it in a moment, but I want you to see the differences because I want to help you with something. And then, yeah, so. Okay, so first, I have you come in first and then, so move and gather around if you want to see. So come into it, so get your low back as you bring your hands up. Okay. So now really strongly engage your legs, push into the floor. But you see what's happening with her back? Her back is a little bit rounded, right? So you see like the middle of her back is further than her shoulders, yeah? So what I want you to do is engage your belly a little bit more. Don't look at me. Don't look at your head. Okay, engage your low belly a little bit more so we get a little bit straighter. Good. Oh, wow. Now push your arms down. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It looks really good. Yeah.
So it's more straight now than rounded, right? So yes, her hips are a little bit further this way now, and she has a little bit of rounding, but that's okay. So probably a block under your legs would help with that a little bit, but this is safer than where she was in the first
And
place.
this feels better than where it was.
Good, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna let you come down when you're ready. Okay, you should be able to breathe steadily through. So, actually, I'm gonna show you, can I show you with the chair?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna kind of do the same thing. But this is gonna lift you a little bit higher. So what I'm gonna have you do is the same thing. Up. You got it. There. So same thing, but we just have the chair. So engage your low belly. Squeeze and then push into the chair. Ideally, this would be against the wall, but I've got it as much as I can. So do you see how using the chair, thank you, using the chair can change that? Good breathing. Yes, okay. You got a little hint there.
Okay, so using the chair can help elevate, so we're taking some of that pressure off of your neck again. Block is great, even higher chair can help with that, but the idea is to squeeze the inner thighs and really squeeze the legs. So again, the strength of this comes from the legs, okay? Come down when you're ready. Oh, yeah. Good. Thanks. I'm terrible with this. Are you okay to do it again? Okay. Your spine naturally wants to come into it. And so you can actually deepen into it by clasping your hands, and really pressing your hands down. Yeah. And you've got good core engagement, so you can see like her spine is really like pretty well straight. So now you can actually get a little bit more by squeezing your arms towards one another, clasp your hands, and then really press down into your hands. And you see how that kind of helped to elevate the spine even more, yeah? If your cloud does not look like this, that is okay. That's why we use blocks, bolsters, chairs, all that good stuff. But what we want to avoid is having a big rounding in the spine, because that then translates all of that pressure into your neck. You just want to be really careful with that, okay? Okay, so that same principle applies with shoulder stand, okay? So shoulder stand is the same position of your torso, except your legs are not behind your head, they go straight up, okay? And so the idea with that is, again, you come into it the same way, but you shoot the legs straight up and really squeeze the inner thighs and push your feet actively towards the ceiling, okay? Supporting the low back the whole time is really important. Unless you have like super strength and can keep yourself up there, then you can do that clasping your hands behind your back. But like, honestly, like there's not a lot of people that I would suggest do that, okay? So if you want to try it, the setup is exactly the same. It's just instead of letting your legs come back behind your head, they go straight up, okay? And point your toes. Point. So no, your toes aren't pointed. Your toes are flexed, your feet are pointed. Yeah. So now those of you that are up in it, what I want you to think about is bringing your hips in the direction of your nose, so towards your nose, and your heels away from that. So your heels towards the front of your space. Yeah. So if you can see your toes, if you can see your whole foot, I want you to move your feet back a little bit. I know, it's like, well, wait, which way is that? Yeah. Now, yeah, nice, Gabby. Once you've got that, really try to press your feet up towards the ceiling. So you're using the muscle engagement as you squeeze your inner thighs to press your feet up. Yeah, nice, Alexis, good hold.
Do you want assistance?
No.
Okay.
I was just.
So with this one, you can assist. What I would do though is they do the work, right? Like they're gonna do the work. You're not gonna do the work of like basically just holding their legs together and letting them press up towards the ceiling. Yeah.
So what did you mean by not being able to see your whole foot? Because I felt like my foot was in my line of vision the whole time.
Yeah, because that means you're kind of bent. How do I explain it without doing it?
Did you say Gabby before?
Mhm. Yeah, I don't ask Gabby if she wants to do it again. I know, right? That's what I'm like. Actually, so Ashlyn, can I help you? Yeah. Since you're already in it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is create a stronger base because you're awfully wobbly. So squeeze your elbows in and push them down. Push your elbows down. Good, now low belly engages. So you see how she's at an angle, right? What I'm talking about is this. Okay, so hips towards your nose, feet away from you. You're good, come down. There you go. Oh, well, not that way.
All right.
I'm ready for this. I feel less cool when Trevor did like a tuck and. It's challenging, right? Because you're up and your natural tendency is to try and fold yourself in half, right? But what you want to do is use your core to press your hips forward towards your nose and then your legs away. So you're straightening out that bend. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense when you're in it. I know. Do you want to try it? Do you want to feel it? Yes. I can help you. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let you get into it. And then I want you all to see too, like, so you can see how we get rid of that angle. So hold your low back, drop your knees in towards your chest. And then I'll move it over. I'll get there. Good. All right, so stop there. Squeeze your legs together. Push your feet up towards the ceiling. But to see how we're gonna get rid of this angle is you're gonna hold your low belly in, push your hips towards your nose, and then feet back. Squeeze your legs. Breathe. Yeah, breathe. Breathe out your legs. Okay. So do you see the difference? And so hips towards the nose, feet away. So you can now swirl in the nose. Okay. Anybody else? Raise that up to the top. Yeah, it's a lot of core engagement to stay there. A lot of core engagement.
Question, comment that, the neck part is similar. Alignment.
Okay, so those two poses, you can get the same benefit of inversion with another pose that takes the risk out of your neck. You know what it is?
It's.
It's headstand. No.
No.
No, that's even more risk. Or something like that.
Oh, legs up the wall.
Yeah,
Or
waterfall,
fall.
waterfall. Particularly if you take a block and place it under your hips, then you're lifting your hips up a little bit more and getting more of that inversion effect. Okay, and you can even use a strap around your legs, right? Like, keep it down.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. You could use a strap around your legs, block under your sacrum, whatever, and still get the benefit of the inversion without putting your neck at risk of injury. Yeah. Okay. Do you see how much engagement it takes to keep your neck safe? Yeah, it's a lot. So. Okay. Speaking of your neck. Your neck is not designed to support the weight of your body. It's just not.
Good state.
Okay. Those teeny tiny things, no, they're not. However, headstand is a beneficial pose. Okay. But headstand is kind of a misnomer because you're not actually putting the weight of your head or the weight of your body on your head in headstand. I'm not teaching you tripod headstand. I'm going to teach you supported headstand, which means hands are here. Okay. But look at this. What's happening? My head is definitely higher. So what do I need to do? Lots of push. Okay. Lots of push.
Just scapping your shoulders.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like your head is on the ground, no weight.
Very minimal weight in your head, very minimal weight. Like I could almost slide a piece of paper under your head if you're doing it properly.
The other thing is we headstand on the crown, not the unicorn horn. Okay, so how do you find the crown of your head? Take your hand, slap yourself in the forehead. Okay, I mean, not actually. The heel of your hand kind of rests right at the level of your eyebrows. And then your middle finger comes down, and where the tip of your middle finger lands is the crown of your head. So it might be further back than you think. Yeah.
So that's the soft spot.
Yeah, it's your fontanelle.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, no.
So babies should not do this.
I don't think they have the body control to do that, but,
You're gonna have-
so that means that you're way back here to balance, okay? And that does line you up, it lines your spine up better for more safe practice. The other thing that you can do too is if you do have T-Rex arms like me or not a whole lot of shoulder mobility, you can actually fold a blanket so that it creates like a little triangle and place your forearms on the blanket, okay? The other thing is your hands are clasped. When your hands are clasped, what happens is your poor little pinky gets smushed. So you just take that pinky and tuck it under so that you're resting on the edge of your hand, okay? Elbows are hugged in. So 3 big rules with headstand, okay? Not the full weight of your body is on your head. You headstand on the crown, not the unicorn horn. And unlike handstand, there is no kicking up into headstand. There's no flailing your legs and bobbling around on your neck, please, okay? So it's a controlled movement that I want you to do slowly, okay? So, does anybody have a headstand that they want to volunteer?
Is it okay if it's not super great?
It is, but I want it to be safe. Are you going to be a bobblehead?
I'm gonna try really hard not to.
Okay. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Okay, maybe I won't, cause I already saw.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna walk you through it. Okay. I'm gonna walk you through it. So start off on your knees.
It's the wall, isn't it?
Oh, against the wall is great, but you're not kicking up into it. Yeah. So bring your forearms down. Okay, clasp. So about chaturanga distance. You don't want it much wider because that is your balance base. Okay. Now, make sure that you're getting ready to really push into your hands. Then I want you to tuck your chin and bring the crown of your head onto the floor. So start there. Okay. Now really push down into your forearms and start to bring your head up off the floor just a little bit, not a big bunch. Good. Now lift your knees and start to walk your feet in as close as you can possibly get them. So again, we want to start to work hips over shoulders. And that might be right where you stay. Maybe yeah, and that's perfect. Maybe bring one thigh in towards your chest. So bend your knee and your heel in. Yeah, good. And then maybe do the other one. Not at the same time, one at a time. Yeah. Good. So continue pushing, no rocking. I don't know what you're doing there. Continue pushing into your forearms. You won't even try to straighten your leg. That's where you're going to be. Okay. And come on down when you're ready. That's that. That's where you're going to stay. Okay. You can do that up against the wall, right? You'll get your knuckles right up against the wall and walk your feet in so that the whole spine starts to press up against the wall. Okay. And then you draw one knee in at a time. No kicking, none of that like rocking, wobbling. Seriously, I've hurt my neck in headstand before. It's not fun. So love your neck as much as I love your neck. Okay. If you want to play with it, you are welcome to. I will come around and help you out. If you're like, no, thank you very much, that's totally fine as well. Whatever you feel. You have a couple minutes. Oh, you have 1 minute. How are we here already? Good Lord. Already to the end. That's all right.
So like the next.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So Gabby, really push down into your hands. That's your balance point. Good. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Right. Good work, Gabby.
You have.
Been the example.
Yeah.
You don't like being the example.
Yeah, I'm in a bad place for that. I'm gonna move out of somersaulty McGee's way over here.
Oh, yeah, trying.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to get out of it. If you feel like you're gonna topple backwards, tuck your chin and roll out of it. Yeah. Tuck and roll. Tuck and roll. So you can bring your head down. You can bring your head down more to touch. You have the opposite problem. Your arms are too long. Yeah, like you're gonna come into a straight up forearm stand. No. Mm. So Trevor, actually bring your elbows in a little bit closer. There you go. Can you bring your head down? Is that? There you go. Oh, not so much.
Oh, I just don't like that.
Okay. You do you.
Right.
You do you.
But the shoulder stand is that
I noticed
Thank
a difference in what he was doing, compared to what I do. I don't clasp my thumbs. I don't know if that makes a difference. I like basically like almost
Oh, yeah.
do this,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And then I'm pressing, it's like all
But
shoulders,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
like on your crepes or further back a little bit, yeah.
So your hands should actually
Well, I
be
guess
back
it's
here
different
more,
on-
right? So just do that. Bring your hand, just where you are. Bring your hands back to like the ox, that word is not gonna.
Occipital.
Yeah, thank you. My tongue was like, I can't do it. And then hug your elbows in. Now come down and see if you, I mean, don't plunk your head on the floor, but yeah. So
Yeah.
now, don't you dare do it. Oh my
So can I get a spot?
Mm-hmm, yep. Okay. No kicking. Although your head is so far away from the ground that you're probably pretty safe. So walk. Okay, no, don't lift your leg. Bring it in towards your chest,
It's like upside down crow.
kind of. Forward. Okay.
Avoid those.
Squeeze your legs together, don't hit me. Push the ground away from you. Yeah, there you go. Squeeze your inner thighs. Push your feet up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready to come out of it. One leg at a time. Oh.
There's just so much of him that it's.
I know, like you're heavy. Hey. Oh my god.
Like watching a piece of spaghetti. It's like.
Watching a piece of spaghetti.
No, like he's super solid. You're like really solid and strong. It's just like every time I give you a cue, you lose the other thing that you just engaged.
Oh,
So yeah, just keep building from ground up.
Yeah.
Because I could feel you. As soon as I'm told you to bring your legs together, I felt your shoulders like sink.
oh.
And then I told you to push down into your arms and your legs were like this. It does. Yeah, it's also like keep your hips forward or twist from your shoulders and then the hips just go. Yeah, it's like shoulders and hips. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, friends. Oh, what did I just do? What is that?
I was just trying to.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like,